Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Let me see, I can clear. Yes.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, everybody. We are reading from chapter 6, text 31. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya permitted all the devotees to enter his house, and upon seeing Nityanand Prabhu, the Bhattacharya offered him obeisances. Text 32. Sarvabhauma met with all the devotees and offered them a proper welcome. They were all pleased to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 33. The Bhattacharya then sent them all back to see Lord Jagannath, and he asked his own son Chandaneshwara to accompany them as a guide. Text 34. Everyone was then very pleased to see the deity of Lord Jagannath. Lord Nityananda, in particular, was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Text 35. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu nearly fainted, all the devotees caught him and steadied him. At that time, the priest of Lord Jagannath brought a garland that had been offered to the deity and offered it to Nityananda Prabhu. Text 36. Everyone was pleased to receive this garland worn by Lord Jagannath. Afterwards, they all returned to the place where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying. Text 37. All the devotees then began to loudly chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Just before noon, the Lord regained his consciousness. Text 38. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and very loudly chanted, Hari Hari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very pleased to see the Lord regain consciousness, and he took the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. Text 39. The Bhattacharya informed all of them, please take your midday baths immediately. Today I shall offer you prasadam, the remnants of food offered to Lord Jagannath. Text 40. After bathing in the sea, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees returned very soon. The Lord then washed his feet and sat down on a carpet to take lunch. Text 41. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya made arrangements to bring various kinds of Mahaprasad from the Jagannath temple. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then accepted lunch with great happiness. Text 42. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was offered special rice and first class vegetables on golden plates. He thus took lunch in the company of his devotees. Text 43. While Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya personally distributed the prasadam, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested him, please give me only boiled vegetables. Text 44. You can offer the cakes and preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. Hearing this, the Bhattacharya folded his hands and spoke as follows. Text 45. Today, all of you please try to taste the lunch just as Lord Jagannath accepted it. Text 46. After saying this, he made them all eat the various cakes and condensed milk preparations. After feeding them, he offered them water to wash their hands, feet, and mouths. Text 47. Begging permission from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then went to Gopinath Acharya to take lunch. After finishing their lunch, they returned to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 48. Offering his obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Namo Narayan. I offer my obeisances to Narayan. Text 49. Hearing these words, Sarvabhauma understood Lord Chaitanya to be a Vaishnava sannyasi. Text 50. Sarvabhauma then said to Gopinath Acharya, I want to know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's previous situation. Text 51. Gopinath Acharya replied, there was a man named Jagannatha who was a resident in Navadvip and whose surname was Mishra Purandaran. Text 52. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the son of that Jagannath Mishra, and his former name was Vishvambara Mishra. He also happens to be the grandson of Nilambara Chakravarti. Text 53. The Bhattacharya said, Nilambara Chakravarti was a classmate of my father, Maheshwara Visharadha. I knew him as such. Text 54. Jagannath Mishra Purandara was respected by my father. Thus, because of their relationship with my father, I respect both Jagannath Mishra and Nilambara Chakravarti. Text 55. Hearing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to the Nadia district, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very pleased and addressed the Lord as follows. Text 56. You are naturally respectable. Besides, you are a sannyasi. Thus, I wish to become your personal servant. Text 57. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this from the Bhattacharya, he immediately remembered Lord Vishnu and began to speak humbly to him as follows. Text 58. Because you are a teacher of Vedanta philosophy, you are the master of all the people in the world, and their well wisher as well. You are also the benefactor of all kinds of sannyasis. Text 59. I am a young sannyasi, and I actually have no knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Therefore, I am taking shelter of you and accepting you as my spiritual master. Text 60. I have come here only to associate with you, and I am now taking shelter of you. Will you kindly maintain me in all respects? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madhya. So we'll go through. If you remember the context before this section, what happened was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling from Shantipura, where is Advaita Acharya's home, to Jagannath Puri. On the way, he went to Sakshi Gopal temple also, where he heard the pastime about Sakshi Gopal, and then he entered the Jagannath Puri city. We heard in the previous session how Lord Nityananda broke his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's danda before entering the Jagannath Puri city. Because of that, Lord Chaitanya went alone to the Jagannath Puri temple, and then he was trying to go running towards Jagannath deity. And that time, we heard Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu overcame with ecstasy. And this is, we heard in the last session how he was exhibiting all the 8 symptoms of a bhava, all of them together, one shot, one time. So, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought him to his home. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya being the chief, one of the scholar, is a scholar, and he's assisting the king at that time. So he brought him to home and is taking care of him. And he observed that symptoms of ecstasy are there. How he's alive, but he's still having ecstasy symptoms like that. He understood because he's a very learned person. So then that is the context where we were in. That while he was looking after them, that associates of Lord Chaitanya finally arrived at the place. So let me share the screen again. So then they all came. They all found out from Jagannath Puri temple that Lord Chaitanya came there, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took him to his home like that. That's when they came to his home, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's home, to see Lord Chaitanya. And then when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw Nityananda Prabhu, it's expressed that Bhattacharya offered him obeisances. That's an interesting thing. He's offering respectful like that. Now, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because all the devotees came like guests, he offered them a proper welcome. And they were all also pleased when they saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally. So, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sent his son Chandaneswara to accompany them to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. That means special darshan, basically. It's like a courtesy and respect that is offering to the guests that came. And then they were all pleased to see Lord Jagannath deity. And Lord Nityananda was overwhelmed with ecstasy, is described. And Nityananda Prabhu was nearly fainting with ecstatic symptoms. And devotees caught him and then steadied him, it seems. And then the priest of Jagannath, he gave him garland that has been offered to the deity. So Maha garland, he gave it to Nityananda Prabhu. Everyone was pleased to receive that Maha garland. Then they all went back to Sarvam Bhattacharya's home to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are no purports here in this section. So all of the devotees began to loudly chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And remember, by this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still appears unconscious only. That means he's in ecstatic symptoms and no external, he is not able to perceive anything external like that. So just before noon, while he was singing Kirtan loudly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained his consciousness, it seems. So see, this is another thing. When somebody goes with ecstatic symptoms, one of the common thing we observe is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for their benefit. This is what we see in throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Later on also we'll see the same phenomena that will help them to recover, to come back to external consciousness slowly. Sorry. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and he also chanted loudly Hari Hari like that. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very pleased to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regaining consciousness. And again he took the dust of Lord's lotus feet. You notice Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an impersonalist, speculative, always into speculative mode. But still he was respecting other sannyasis like that. He was a grihastha, he was respecting sannyasis. So he respected Nityananda Prabhu earlier we saw, and he did a service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by bringing home before the servants of Lord Jagannath were trying to hit him. So he protected Lord Chaitanya and brought him to his home. Now he's taking dust of Lord's lotus feet. So many, these are important to note because remember this chapter is liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. That means how Lord will deliver, all these things are helping him. Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the common things we notice is that devotees before they become delivered by Lord, they actually serve the Vaishnavas or the Lord himself like that. So here he is doing service to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu in this case. So now Bhattacharya told all the devotees, including Lord Chaitanya, please take your midday bath immediately. Today I shall offer you Mahaprasadam from Lord Jagannath like that. So this is again a Vaishnava etiquette point and also a cultural point, Varnashrama point. Basically, Brahmanas, especially sannyasis, are meant to take bath 3 times a day. And grihasthas like us at least 2 times a day like that. That's why he's saying you can take midday bath because there's Brahmanas and sannyasis like that. So now, let me go to, okay, no purport still. So then they all took bath in the sea, it seems. And Sri, one of the other purports we heard that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's home was close to the sea, it seems. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees took bath and then they came back, it seems. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed his feet because in the Vedic culture, when you come from outside, you wash your feet. And then he sat down on a carpet to take lunch, it seems. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya made arrangements to bring various kinds of Mahaprasad. What was offered to Lord Jagannath, he wanted to offer them to all the devotees. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also happy to accept the lunch Mahaprasadam with great happiness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also offered special rice and first-class vegetables on golden plates, it seems. And then he took lunch in the company of his devotees. Now, after this statement, they're going back a little bit backwards now. So while Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was personally distributing the prasadam, it seems. There's another nice thing. So when the guests come, the host personally tries to distribute the prasadam also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested him, please give me only boiled vegetables. In the purport, there's a mention of a subject called lafra venjana, it seems. It's basically vegetables are boiled, it seems, and then with simple spices like called chenka, that is cumin, black pepper, and mustard, it seems. This is another beauty of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita also has recipes for cooking actually. In many places it's described. We already heard in Adi Lila some recipes, now again something. So like that, he asked, basically he's asking, the intent is, principle is, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking him to serve simple food stuff for him. That is one principle. And he's saying, you can offer the cakes and preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. This means opulent Mahaprasadam, give it to other devotees, is saying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Interestingly, Sarvam Bhattacharya nicely, respectfully says what you say. He respectfully, Sarvam Bhattacharya folds his hand and says, today, all of you, please try to taste the lunch just as Lord Jagannath accepted it. So this is a nice, subtle way of describing it, right? Instead of saying, no, no, nothing doing, you should read all the preparations, not like that. He's saying, because Lord Jagannath ate all the preparations, you also try taste how Lord Jagannath tasted the prasadam, like that he's telling. And then asking them to taste all of the foods, basically. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also is not leaving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from sweets and everything. He's asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also to accept the sweets. Now, after saying this, he made them all eat the various cakes and condensed milk preparations like Mahaprasadam, opulent Mahaprasadam. And after feeding them, he offered them water to wash their hands, feet, and mouths. Actually, in the Vedic culture, this is a practice also, washing the hands, feet, and mouth after eating prasadam like that. Now, then he took permission. So you notice he only served so far. He didn't eat prasadam yet. So he took permission from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, saying that now I'll also take prasadam like that. So Sarvam Bhattacharya, along with his brother-in-law becomes significant later on in this chapter, because he helps Sarvam Bhattacharya to understand that Lord Chaitanya is Supreme Lord also. He gives his mercy. So along with Gopinath Bhattacharya, he went to take lunch. After finishing their lunch, they returned back to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now they came back and they offered obeisance to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvam Bhattacharya greeted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Narayana. Offer my obeisance to Narayana, like that. Actually, in the paper book, I have another sentence also. In return, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Matirastu. That means let your attention be on Krishna. Like that. He doesn't say Namo Narayana. He says Krishna Matirastu. Purport of this verse is analyzing the point. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is proclaimed like that. First point is that the Shankaracharya Sampradaya, that sannyasis and those devotees, they greet each other as my obeisance to Narayana, and each of them addresses others as Narayana, it seems. So that's why he's addressing like this. But Vaishnava sannyasis don't accept like that. Vaishnava sannyasis, no. Always we are servants of Narayana. We're not Narayana. We can never become Narayana. But they think they'll become Narayana like that. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying Krishna Matirastu, because he wants everybody to become Krishna conscious. Krishna Matirastu means let your attention be on Krishna. So that is why Vaishnavas bless everybody that by saying Krishna Matirastu, may you become Krishna conscious, like that. I remember one particular devotee, many of you might know, his name is Dinabandhu Prabhu. He currently lives in Vrindavan. He's a nice devotee. He serves Vrindavan Dham. All the devotees who go to see the Dham, he tells them pastimes of Krishna at each places, and then even does mimicry of different birds like that. And he tells, he's a good storyteller also. And he sings Braja songs, because he knows Braja language also now, after being there for so many years, even though he's an American body originally. But he's like a Rajvasi only. He's been there for a long time. He also writes whenever at least I seen, I don't know all the time or not, but whenever we took some books from him, when my wife took some book from him, he wrote Krishna Matirastu, like that. May you remember Krishna, like that. That's what in the purport also saying, that Vaishnavas want everybody to remember Krishna. That's why they bless them like that. And then text 49, hearing these words, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood what words, the words that Krishna Matirastu, he said, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he's saying Lord Chaitanya, they understood to be a Vaishnava sannyasi, it seems. So he got the understanding. Then Sarvabhauma then said to Gopinathacharya, his brother-in-law, I want to know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's previous situation. So the word used is Purvashrama. That means he wanted to know a little bit more about how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there before sannyas ashram, like that. Purport clarifies, sometimes people take from Brahmacharya ashram directly to sannyas. Sometimes they take from Brahmacharya to Grihastha, Grihastha to sannyas, like that. So he wants to know a little bit about his previous ashram as a householder, as Grihastha, like that. Then Gopinath Acharya, um, then Gopinath Acharya starts to reply. He says, there was a man named Jaganada and his surname was Mishra Pundara. He is resident of Navadipa. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the son of that Jagannath Mishra. We know Jagannath Mishra and Sachdevi are father and mother of Lord Chaitanya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's former name was Vishwambara Mishra, it seems. That's why he's describing. Because son of Jagannath Mishra, he has in the same surname he got. And his first name was Vishwambara at that time, before initiation, before sannyas, like that. Now, he also says he also happens to be the grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti. So now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, Nilambar Chakravarti was a classmate of my father, Maheshwara Visharada. I knew him as such. So interestingly, you notice, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father is a friend of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grandfather. That means Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is at the almost similar age like his father, essentially. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father, like that. Essence point that comes in later verses is that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was elder to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the essential principle. How much elder we do not know exactly, but at least elder to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's number one point. Now here, let me see if there is any purport here. Okay, no purports. Okay, then Jagannath Mishra was respected my father. My father is saying. That means, first of all, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father was Visharada, Maheshwara Visharada, and he was friend of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grandfather. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father, Jagannath Mishra, is also respected by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father, it seems. Thus, because of their relationship with my father, I respect both of them, both Jagannath Mishra and Nilambar Chakravarti. That means he already knows them. He already knows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father and grandfather, both already, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Now, let me see. Yeah, 56 is the purport. Okay, before we go there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and hearing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to Madhya district, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very pleased and started to speak to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that you're naturally respectable. Besides, you are a sannyasi. Thus, I wish to become your personal servant, is saying. So, purport clarifies to us, a sannyasi is always to be worshipped, even respected, and offers all kinds of respects also. For example, even if a Mayavadi sannyasi comes, we offer them our respects. We may not take their association, but still we offer our respects to sannyas ashram that person is there in, like that. So similarly, even though Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was older than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in age, still he respected him as a sannyasi and as one who attained the topmost platform of spiritual ecstasy. Remember, he saw in the previous incident that how when he's going to see Lord Jagannath, he became ecstatic, like that. That what is being referred here. So that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why what he's saying, I wish to become your personal servant. Who is saying this? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, interestingly, as soon as Lord Chaitanya heard this from Bhattacharya, he immediately remembered Lord Vishnu, it seems. That means Vishnu, 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 like that. And began to speak humbly to him as follows. We generally, in the later past tense also we'll see, if somebody says Lord Chaitanya is a master or a Vishnu, like that, Supreme Lord, like that, he says Vishnu, 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 and he goes and jumps in the Ganga, like that. So here, he's at least remembering, he is responding in a humble way back to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So what is he saying in 58th verse? Actually, he's glorifying Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in turn. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I want to be your personal servant, respecting him as sannyasi. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is respecting Sarvam Bhattacharya in regard opposite. We'll see how he'll say in the next two verses. He says, because you are a teacher of Vedanta philosophy, that means you are teaching Vedanta philosophy, which Mayavadis do, it seems. You are the master of all the people in the world. The word used is Jagat Guru. That means because Mayavadis, when they teach Vedanta philosophy, they are called Jagat Guru, it seems. And they're also considered well-wisher of everybody like that. And their well-wisher also, that means their well-wisher means everybody in the world. You're also the benefactor of all kinds of sannyasis. Purport clarifies to us why is he saying this statement? Because apparently Sarvam Bhattacharya has this good quality of serving Vaishnavas, serving sannyasis, not in Vaishnavas, serving sannyasis, it seems. So he invites sannyasis to home and feeds them prasadam, it seems. So that's why he's calling them, you're the benefactor of all kinds of sannyasis also. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is continuing to speak to Sarvam Bhattacharya. What is saying? I'm a young sannyasi and I actually have no knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Therefore, I'm taking shelter of you and accepting you as my spiritual master. Look at the humble position that Lord Chaitanya himself is demonstrating here. He is saying Sarvam Bhattacharya as the spiritual master. This is a humble state. We'll see similar thing exhibited by Lord Chaitanya at a couple of other instances also. When he meets the Prakashananda Saraswati also. Like that few instances we'll see. So he says like that, I'll take shelter of you. Because he's senior in age. And also, Sarvam Bhattacharya thinks he knows better. Of course, we'll find out that more. That's what he's saying. Now he's saying, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, I have come here only to associate with you. And I'm now taking shelter of you. Will you kindly maintain me in all respects? So he's actually elevating Sarvam Bhattacharya position and speaking in respect, in honor to him like that. Instead of, first he said, I want to become your servant. But Lord Chaitanya himself is saying like that, you are great like that. I want to take shelter of you like that. I don't know anything like that. So what do? We know little one statement somewhere we read or hear. We say, I know this, I know that, I know that. We try to show off to everybody that I know this much like that. We can learn from Supreme Lord himself how we can stay in a humble position and be always eager to serve others like that. So today just to summarize today we heard how Sarvam Bhattacharya respected Nityananda Prabhu and all the other devotees also. And then we heard how he fed them prasadam nicely from Jagannath Mahaprasad. And then he started to respect Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sannyasi, and then he approached him humbly, saying that I wish to be a personal servant like that. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in turn was expressing his humility and respecting and honoring Sarvam Bhattacharya. So we can pause here today and we can continue tomorrow. So nice pastime is a long chapter, but some philosophy also will come in this section, this chapter. Because there is discussion between Lord Chaitanya and Sarvam Bhattacharya. And there, like I said yesterday, this is one of the 5 important sections in whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, all 9 books. This is one of the important sections. Because Prabhupada wrote the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which are summary teachings of Lord Chaitanya, that are 5 conversations I mentioned yesterday: Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami conversation, Sarvam Bhattacharya conversation, Prakashananda Saraswati, and Ramananda Rai. So this is one of the important conversations we're going to hear coming up in this chapter in the next few sessions, I think. So now is the story, pastime is going on now. So more is coming up. In the next session, Monday session also, we'll hear about how different levels of sannyasis are there and different levels of brahmacharis are there, like that we'll hear also. So we'll pause there, we'll continue next time. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kupasindubhyevacha Payatanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sir Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.